Welcome back to the Path to Cultural Victory series in Civilization VI Gathering Storm. The medieval era does not carry civics milestones that need to be reached specifically, except for the fact that you need to work towards humanism and enlightenment in the next era, the Renaissance. Although things like earning great merchant points, creating open borders, and sending trade routes to every civ should be the goal throughout the game, there are international modifiers that help grow tourism, such as open borders with plus 25%, and trade routes to each civ will bring you another 25%. Civil Service Civic allows for alliance agreements to start. So if you reach level 3 cultural alliance with the civ, it will allow you to gain 20% of your allies' tourism from their cities. Another nice international boost. Renaissance is where we get to the Enlightenment civic that cuts religious tourism in half, and humanism that allows construction of art and archaeological museums. If you are short on theater square districts and have to choose the type of museum to build, I'd prefer archaeological. It is easier to build or buy an archaeologist unit than a great person and collect those artifacts. Museum theming increases tourism output is absolutely huge for both arts and artifacts. You have to trade great works for theming with other civs early, because the closer you get to the cultural domination, the harder it will be to trade with them. Keep in mind that unthemed museums should hold different artists' works rather than the same one, as they will earn more tourism. More importantly, plan on one strong cultural city full of great works. Usually it will be your capital, as it starts with a palace that holds 1 slot, and if you add the Natural History Museum, that's another 4 slots. Squeeze in wonders like Hermitage and Bolshoi to hold even more. And then Pingala, who is usually your capital governor, will double the tourism from all these great works in that city with his curator title. Next, make sure to start building your spy network. You will either need to steal tech boosts to propel your science, or eventually sabotage other civs from reaching space victory. Finally, printing technology is important. It unlocks Forbidden Palace, which is a great cultural wonder with an extra policy slot, but it also has a passive effect on great works of writing that start to provide tourism. Industrial era opens a path to Natural History Civic that unlocks the archaeologist unit, which is required to start collecting those artifacts. Send the archaeologists to different parts of the world because in order to theme the museum, you would need artifacts from different civs in the same era. Note that an archaeologist has as many charges as there are free slots in its parent museum. There is also a Ferris wheel building that comes with it. I usually build it for amenities rather than tourism. Opera and Ballet Civic unlocks the Bolshoi Wonder for that capital city full of great works. Also, Economics Tech unlocks Big Band Wonder, which is a fantastic wonder overall that offers serious great merchant points and extra policy slot, economic policy slot. There will be 2 great merchants in the upcoming eras that you should try to pick up. Now, the modern era is big. Conservation Civic becomes available. It allows the construction of national parks. This one is huge. You should try to build as many parks as possible and start to manage the appeal of the tiles to elevate it to the highest level by planting woods and removing mines and clearing marshes, etc. The higher the appeal of the park tiles, the higher the tourism output. Learn more details and tips in my other video on national parks. Ideally, you would want to find a national park city that can own multiple parks. First of all, Governor Rayner with her forestry management title will elevate the appeal by +1 for the park tiles that are adjacent to unimproved features in the city. Secondly, imagine if you are able to build the Golden Gate Bridge that comes with combustion tech. that provides plus 100 tourism to national park and all tile improvements, as well as plus 4 appeal in the city as well. I mean, you're going to boost the tourism output for each national park crazily high. So how important is science? Well, combustion gives you the golden bridge. Maybe we can do without. But modern era also has flight technology that has a significant impact on the cultural victory game, as it allows tourism to be generated by all improvements that provide culture or faith, and also by compound improvement that provides food, meaning that any unique or city-state improvement is now so much more important, so plan for it. There is also radio technology that unlocks seaside resorts improvement, which is an important tourist destination that you should start building as soon as you can. Find those nice uninhabited islands and pack them up. And don't forget to build Cristo Redentor with Mass Media Civic that provides plus 100 tourism to seaside resorts. Finally, there is also steel technology that gives you the Eiffel Tower, which is important to boost the appeal of the tiles across the empire by 2 and elevate tourism for the parks and seaside resorts. By the way, so that's 4 techs, 5 techs in one era that you need to get sooner than later. So science is important. There are 2 great people you should aim to hire. Great merchant Sarah Breedlove, who generates plus 25 tourism rate towards other civilizations you have a trade route to. It adds up to plus 50 tourism total because of the default 25% modifier for having trade routes. And to a lesser extent, there is a great engineer, Alto, who provides plus 1 appeal in the city. It could be useful in raising appeal to build national parks or seaside resorts, but not sure how many engineering points you would be making in this game. It is worth noting the shopping mall building from the neighborhood district becomes available with plus 4 tourism. By the end of the modern era, you should adopt a third-tier government and build a Natural History Museum Government Plaza building. It should go into your Great Work City, probably the capital city, where your Governor Pingala is stationed. You'd better roll into the atomic era with the Golden Age, because of its dedication called Wish You Were Here that provides plus 100 tourism to national parks and plus 50 tourism to wonders with cities with governors. By this time, you should have governors in every city that has a wonder. This dedication also belongs in the information and future eras. In the atomic era, there are multiple important items you should pay attention to. Cultural Heritage Civic unlocks government policy heritage tourism that provides plus 100 tourism from great works and artifacts. And then there is a Sydney Opera House wonder, Great Musicians Points Factory. Remember that great works of music is second in tourism output after relics. And now you get access to the rock band unit, so you better save some faith for it. You would need to go fast to try and generate as much tourism as you can before other civs get to music censorship policy that bans rock bands. It is the Space Race Civic that unlocks music censorship, which bans rock bands from entering your borders. Space Race also unlocks satellite broadcast policy, which adds 200 tourism from great work of music. So music becomes more important and can be boosted. That Sydney Opera House is not too useless. Then Professional Sports Civic unlocks ski resort improvement that is so easy to build on every other mountain in your empire. You can even build it outside the city's 3-ring working tiles and it still generates tourism. It also comes with tourism generating buildings like Stadium and Aquatic Center, but neither one of those has an impact at this point of the game. Computers technology becomes available, and it is a modifier that grants 25% tourism across your empire. Super important. Again, another science technology. And then synthetic material stack unlocks biosphere wonder. And if you have multiple electric dams and plan to throw solar and wind power stations, it is certainly worth it. Great scientist Mary Leakey. She makes artifacts in all of your cities generate 300% more tourism. Just make sure to activate her in the city with an archaeological museum filled with artifacts to gain extra science. Next is the atomic great merchant Melita Bentz. Adds another 25% tourism to other civilizations you have trade route to. So your trade routes now should bring 75% tourism from the default modifier and Sarah Breedlove Great Merchant. So together it's 25% for each, makes it 75. Finally, the information era unlocks another big modifier, civic, which is like one of the last ones, environmentalism. It boosts tourism by another 25%. Several great people are not paramount but could be useful. There's a great engineer career that adds +2 appeal to the city it's activated in. There is a great merchant, Jemsedi Tata, that adds tourism to the campus districts, and then another merchant, Masura Boka, who adds tourism to the industrial zone. So you can see that in this game, culture is important, but also science and also commerce. Because guess what? Then social media civic unlocks another modifier to trade routes through the online community's government policy. Gives you another 50%, which is taking you basically over the top. Anyway, at this point, your civ should be winning the game. But if your culture output is crazy and it's super high, then eventually you can unlock space tourism policy that decreases tourism from other civs against you by 20% to help you along. I hope you guys found this video useful. Please leave any comments, any feedback is always appreciated. Subscribe and like so we can continue creating this content. Thank you. And I'll see you next time.